Hello, everyone. It's Kevin Shepard again, acclimating to fire before bedtime. Tonight, I'm going to talk to you guys about good and evil, and a little bit about the devil. And I guess, like, if you're a Christian or you're Catholic or whatever, you probably don't like to hear about the devil too much. But let me explain why he's kind of an important part of existence. Like, without the devil and without bad or chaos, like, what would good really be? And that's the question you have to try to understand. Like, if there was nothing bad in the world, would it mean shit to ever be good? Like, would you ever have any significance that you would be able to use to explain what being good or just or would love really mean much of shit without evil or hatred? Or is is hatred that different from love? Like, when you're in love, do you not end up hating that person at certain times? Is it not the same thing? And that's what I'm trying to explain. I think when people look at Christianity, like, a lot of people do not believe in it and they completely dismiss it. They completely dismiss Jesus because of the way that Jesus is portrayed through the creation of Christianity, which I do not believe is an accurate portrayal of Jesus. I mean, if you do the research, there's like just way too much evidence to suggest that man has created Christianity, and kind of really done an injustice to Jesus, the actual historical Jesus, in order to um, create this agenda to control an empire, or to create an empire, or to create the new world, and to influence people and control them. Which, I mean, when you look at it, it's could be easily part of God's plan as well. But human beings are they're fear based. Like, you have to scare them in order to control them. And we're going through this process of evolution where the truth is the truth is not an easy thing to accept. So I feel like the powers that be sometimes have to manipulate the masses in order to get them to become more civilized. And if you look at history, it's a progression of civilization. Like, we can look at this day and age and try to act like it's all fucked up and people are horrible and it's so dangerous and bad in the world. But look back in like the 80s and 90s. Like, I mean, when I grew up, the shit was hard, man. Like, it was racist. I had to fight a lot. I mean, like, just things were different. Now you can walk down the street without having to worry about anything. Like, it's safe outside. Like, people don't try to rob you or fight you. It's very rare. It's a rare thing. Like, it's people aren't racist anymore. Like, people think people are racist because the news puts it out there. They want you to be racist. But, like, in actuality, like, if you don't watch the news and you just go out into the world, like, black and white people are cool, unless, like, they assume that the other one isn't cool and they start some shit based on what they saw in the news. So it's like, you kind of have to get out of your head and realize that um, things can only ever be what you believe they are, and that's only based on what you've been taught. So try to go within your heart and use that as your guide instead of like the bullshit you've been taught throughout your life. This is probably going to be a longer one, so hopefully you're interested. But the devil is necessary. Like, without the devil, there is no good, and without good, there is no devil. So without up, there is no down. Without hot, there is no cold. Without love, there is no hate. So what are these things? Why are they so opposite? Why is there a North Pole and a South Pole? Why is there polarity? What is polarity? Is it really an opposite thing, or is it just a different variation of the same thing necessary to create one whole thing? Like the earth, or like temperature, or like love. maybe hate is just a lower form of love. Maybe fear is just a lower form of faith. Maybe it's like the step you must take in order to find faith. Maybe hate is the step you must take in order to find love. Maybe evil is the step you must take to find good, and maybe cold is the step you must take to find hot. And maybe if you find good, love or hot first, maybe then you must find the opposite in order to understand it. And I feel like that's what it is. It's this balance. God would have never created a devil, like, especially according to the Bible. Like, this is like the almighty creator of all things, that is all knowing and has existed throughout all time and sees everything. He's not going to create like this mistaken generation that he loves, already knowing, because he can see the future, that they're going to mess up and that he must destroy them and then like burn them in hellfire for all of eternity because he's jealous. Which is like a very low energy form. Like, if we're creating God's image, but God's not created in our image to where like he's jealous. Like, if you read the New Testament, jealousy is such a low emotion that you cannot associate it with God, because we cannot be godly and still be jealous. Like, it's like a very it's a very like you know I guess immature emotion, jealousy. Like, there's no way to be confident and jealous at the same time. So obviously there's no way to be God and have any type of control of your emotions if you are God, and then you're very volatile and you could potentially just kill everybody because you're jealous. And that is more of like a Satan quality, I must admit. And it's scary for you to think about that if you're a Christian, because you can't question God like that. But you have to understand, like, if God created Satan and if he allowed Satan to tempt Job, then obviously Satan is God. He is a part of God. He's the opposite of God that you believe is God, as the good God, but he's still, as a whole, that opposite that makes the good, worthwhile, and the good is what makes the negative worthwhile, and the negative is what pushes the good, and the light is what, you know, moves the dark, and it's back and forth, and that's like what creates the motion. Like, look at electrical current, look at alternating current. There's a negative and a positive charge that move each other, and look at magnetism. Like, these polarities are what operate like all of physical matter, and it's no different with like spiritual energy. So if you can begin to understand that, then you can start to develop non-judgment the way that Jesus was trying to explain it. Like, you got to understand, these Jewish people, like, were receiving channeled information. The prophets, they were receiving channeled information from angels. Like, if you look throughout the Bible, it was always an angel. And what is an angel? It just means the son of God. There's many sons of gods, but the God of the Old Testament said, worship no other God before me. And these sons of gods were other gods, that were. So if there was a prophet that was susceptible to a negative energy and channeled some information, like, there was positive and negative information being channeled throughout the Bible, and you can see it in there. And then when you hit the New Testament, most of all of Jesus' stuff was dead nuts positive, and it really didn't resonate with the Old Testament. And there's a reason for that. Like, he was a positive influence. Like, he was a positive expression of the Creator that was trying to clear the air on the Old Testament and what the Jewish people believed, because they were so conflicted by the negative that was embedded into their religion. And like, all religions are basically the same, but they're all infiltrated by negative energy as well. And I mean, there's a reason for it. It's not like a bad thing. Like, it's completely necessary, but it's hard to understand that. And it's hard to understand that the conflict in your life is necessary. Like, if there was nothing but peace and stillness and like perfection, life would be boring, and it would probably suck really bad, because there would be no contrast. There would be nothing to look up to or forward to or be relieved from, because there would be nothing that's that's fettering you at all. Like, it would have no value. It would be hella whack. So you gotta really just be thankful for like the opposing force, because without it, like, you're nothing. Like it's not even that cool to be a human. Um, and being a human isn't easy, but it's at times it's freaking amazing. Like because it sucks so bad at other times. And that's really the truth between good and evil. Like it's if you read it literally, then you're going to be very confused. Or if you let somebody else explain it to you, then there's no way you'll understand it. Like if you read the parable of the sower, it tells you how, like, faith increases over time. A seed is planted that ends up growing, but you're not just going to to like one day understand it because somebody else told it to you. It's all written in code, it's all written in parable, and it's intended for you to gain wisdom over time so that you can understand it. And the only way you're going to do that is by like opening your mind and stop believing everything like the people that rule you and tell you what to do and make your life suck because you listen to their news and all their stuff. Like if you listen to them and follow their religions and their teachings, like you're just following the negative path and you don't even know it. Like you're blocked from the truth. If you just read Jesus's teachings, you could not fail. But when you factor in like the Old Testament, it becomes very fucking confusing. Um, because Jesus, Jesus isn't trying to burn people for all eternity in hellfire. Like he preached non-judgment. You don't judge somebody else. So like, how could you say that somebody deserves to burn? Like you couldn't do that according to the word of Jesus. Like if you love your neighbor as yourself, you couldn't condemn him. Like you couldn't, you definitely couldn't wish like even killing him, let alone torturing him in fucking eternal flames. Like, come on now, that's like the most evil shit imaginable. A human being, the most evil human being, couldn't even like comprehend doing that to another human being. There's no gain in it. Like, what is the reward in watching that unless you're just completely demented? So like, we have to be pretty stupid to assume that like this like perfect just creator would get his rocks off by watching us people who don't know any better burn in eternal hellfire. So let's get past that. I mean, I feel like we've evolved as a people long enough to understand that that's just not cool. In your heart, if you look, that's not cool. Like you've sinned enough to to already burn by now, but you're innocent. Like no matter how good or bad you were, like you didn't know any better and you tried your best. So let's get past that like one part where like it's okay to like burn in eternal fire for all eternity. Like if that is God, then why would you serve such an evil being? Like I mean, I would rather just burn in the hellfire just to, you know, not serve something that evil. You know what I mean? Like it's just that's beyond comprehension of fucked up and evil. So stop believing that something loving could do that to you. That was human beings that put that in there and like twisted the words and used the negative energy to control other humans. And maybe it helped them because maybe fear at the time was the only way that you could get another human being to become civilized and to be afraid of enough at a horrible punishment to even like follow a law. You know what I mean? But at this point, like, we don't have to worry about that type of shit anymore. So it's unnecessary. And let's let it go. And let's look at the religions that, like, came before Christianity. And let's look at the real books about Jesus. And, like, let's look at real recorded history. And like, if we do that, it becomes so blatantly obvious that Jesus was, like, way more awesome than he ever could get credit for. I mean, this dude was amazing, and of course he was an expression of God. But we all are, and that's what he was trying to tell us. Like he even told his apostles, like you could be greater than me, and like he wasn't lying. Like he was being straight up, and he said you have to be reborn, and he wasn't lying. But we don't hear none of that because it doesn't follow the agenda that took this country from the Indians and like took slaves over here to build it. It doesn't follow that agenda. So like obviously let's stop being so naive to believe like that this powerful nation would have just told us the truth the whole time, and then all this chaos and genocide and slavery would have still happened. Come on now. These people that did all that are the ones that brought Christianity here. And then there was an opposition between Catholicism and Protestants. And the fucked up thing about it is, like, the same powers that be were playing both sides against each other, and both sides were puppets, and they were, you know, seeding both sides of the conflict, and that's what helped them, like, you know, bring their agenda across. When people are in conflict and they're in fear and they're angry, they're zombies, and you can control them. So think about that right now with this coronavirus going on and all this other bullshit on the news. As you let that consume your mind, you're being controlled. And like, it's really not that bad. Like, they've been handing out checks. Like, if you go out in public, there's not as many people. Like, it's quiet, it's calm. Like, it's fucking cool. Like, I love this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it affects less people than the flu virus. So it's like, if you do catch it and die, like, you're less lucky than, you know. I mean, I don't mean lucky, but you're less unlucky than, like, if you caught the flu. So it's like another possibility that, you know, we could all go anyway, but let's not do it over some shit that affects like 0.001% of the population in a negative way, and most other people are immune to the shit. Let's take some airborne and let's be positive, and let's fucking, you know, have some faith, and like fucking laugh and like be cool to each other and have a good time, and then maybe nobody will catch the shit, and then maybe it'll be cured, and then maybe even the fucking flu will be cured. So if you're a Christian or you're spiritual of any kind, it doesn't matter, you know, if you're into Islam, Christianity, fucking Buddhism, Hinduism, any type of religion, like just even just any type of organic spirituality, because obviously it's ingrained in your heart. We are spirit, mind, and body. So it doesn't matter what you believe, like, I mean, anything like that's higher than just a douchebag ego is spiritual. So if you take that and put a little faith in it and just believe in yourself, believe in your intuition, like, you're being spiritual and you're rising above this fucked up reality that is only real because your mind makes it real. So I'm gonna leave it at that for tonight. So hopefully y'all got something from this. Let me know what y'all think, if you feel like I'm gonna keep making these, and I hope y'all get sick of them one day, and start to comment or something. Cause I'm trying to piss people off, or you know, reach somebody eventually. So anyways, thanks for watching. I love y'all. Good night.